Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to South Boston Speedway in South Boston, Virginia. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team, bringing you today's feature race, 40 fast laps at South Boston Speedway in the top split, the best of the best, in the iRacing Advanced Legends Series. These drivers are the best that were on the service at the time this race was offered. Let's take a look at today's starting lineup. Starting in the 13th spot in car number 10, racing out of Palmerston, North New Zealand, that is Stephen Sowery in the iRacing Legends car. Starting 12th in car number 9, it's Gary Wellman, the Hot Wheels Legends car. Wellman out of Australia, New Zealand. Wellman already off to a little bit of a rough start there, as it looks like his car is just a little bit out of line as we get moving. Starting in the 11th spot in car number 13, he races out of Florida, that's Stephen Wright. In the 10th starting spot, racing out of Eagle Point, Oregon, it's the FART car, the number 12 of Matthew Gifford. In the 9th starting spot, out of Michigan, it's the Los Pollos Hermanos car, number 7 of Matt Van Duzen. Starting 8th in the Beechnut Legends car, racing out of Illinois, that is Jamie Wilson. Starting 7th in car number 11, it's the Analyze Legends car of Jim Grady, Jim out of Virginia. Now, your top 6. In the third row outside, in car number 4, he's going to show up on your telemetry as 00. That's the Gaelic Athletic Association Legends car of Aaron Johnson, Aaron from Bailey, Colorado. On the second row inside, car number 6, he's starting in position 5 out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's Scott Trantham. Starting 4th in car number 3, it's the Red Bull Legends car of Christopher Schaefer, Christopher out of Ohio. He's going to show up on your telemetry as car number 3, but on your screen as car 69. In the third starting spot in car number 5, it's the U.S. Army Legends car of Ethan Michaels, Ethan from the Great Plains. And on the front row, starting on the front row outside in car number 1, that's Trent Newton. He's going to show up in the flat black Legends car. And on the pole in car number 2, it is the Purdue University Legends car, also Hot Carl chassis of Jacob Wright, Jacob out of the Mid-South. The pace car leads the field through, now should be in at any moment. The lights are off. It looks like Jacob Wright's going to hammer the throttle, and it's going to be Jacob Wright taking a quick early lead over the 1 of Newton and the 69 of Christopher Schaefer. Again, remember, Schaefer showing up on your telemetry is 3, but on your screen is car 69. It's Wright, Newton, Schaefer. Looks like it might be the 5 of Ethan Michaels. He's dropped back as well. So out front, it is Jacob Wright. It's Wright, Newton, Schaefer, Trantham, Johnson. Those are your top 5. Jamie Wilson now in 6th. Jim Grady 7th. Gary Wellman in 8th. Andrew Gifford 9th. And Stephen Sowery rounding out the top 10. We are on lap 3 of a scheduled 40-lap event. And it's Jacob Wright out front in that black and gold Purdue Boilermakers Legends car. Wright leads the field as they come out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. Wright past the start-finish line. He's in through the center of 1 and 2 now, out onto the back straightaway. Jacob Wright with the lead. Trent Newton trying to close. Newton about 2.5 car lengths back, but it's all Jacob Wright. Jacob Wright leads. Newton second. Schaefer third. Trantham 4th. Johnson in the 00 in 5th, but a good distance back. It's really a 2-car battle for the lead, then a 2-car battle for 3rd, then Johnson trying to hold off the 6th place car of Jamie Wilson. Out front, it is Jacob Wright, followed by Trent Newton, and then Schaefer. Wright and Newton pulling away from the rest of the field as Christopher Schaefer sits in the 3rd spot with Scott Trantham 4th and Aaron Johnson rounding out the top 5. Let's walk back through the field. We can see the leader, that's the 2 of Jacob Wright. Just behind him, it's the 1 of Trent Newton. Newton about a car length back. Then it's a significant gap to the 3 of Christopher Schaefer. Again, Schaefer, car 69 on your screen. Right now he's working on the lapped car. That's the 7 of Matt Van Duzen. Just behind Schaefer, we see Scott Trantham. Scott Trantham currently shown in the 4th spot. That's car number 6. Then just behind Trantham, it's the lapped car. That's the 7 of Matt Van Duzen. Van Duzen being shown right now 3 laps down in the 12th spot. Just behind Van Duzen, that's the GAA 00 of Johnson. Johnson maybe beginning to close just a bit on Scott Trantham in the 6th. Then behind Johnson, we've got the 8 of Jamie Wilson. Wilson currently shown in the 6th spot. Behind Wilson, that's the 11 of Jim Grady Jr. Grady being shown in the 7th position, as there's a little trouble on the front straightaway there. I didn't see who that was. It might have been. It was the 69. That's Christopher Schaefer. He's gone around, so Schaefer in a little bit of trouble there. Now behind the 11 of Grady, that's Chris Schaefer, who's dropped all the way back now to the 7th spot. Then behind Schaefer, we've got the 12 of Andrew Gifford. Gifford with some damage there, missing the left front fender. He's being currently shown in 8th. Then behind Gifford, that is, it looks like Stephen White. White being shown in 9th right now. Last car on the lead lap. And then just behind White, we've got the 5. That's the U.S. Army car of Ethan Michaels. Ethan being shown in the 13th spot, 5 laps down. Then behind Michaels, that looks like the Hot Wheels Legends car of Gary Wellman. Wellman being shown in 11th, and then behind Wellman, it's the 2 of Jacob Wright. So Jacob Wright leads. We're on lap number 13 of 40. It's Wright and Newton out front. Those 2 cars pulling away from the rest of the field. The 3rd place car of Scott Trantham all by himself. And then behind Trantham, it's the 4th place car of Aaron Johnson. Johnson showing as 4 on your telemetry and 00 on your screen. Johnson trying to close in on Scott Trantham in the 6. Up front, it's the 2 of Jacob Wright and the 1 of Trent Newton. Those 2 cars running 1-2. Jacob Wright in the gold and black Purdue Boilermakers Legends car holding off the 1 of Trent Newton. Newton, though, about a car length and a half back, not giving anything away to Jacob Wright. We are on lap number 16 of 40. You can just see behind the Hot Wheels car, that was the 6 of Scott Trantham, currently running in the 3rd spot. Just behind him, the 00 of Aaron Johnson. Johnson really not entering the screen here because the gap between the leaders is a little more than a straightaway. Some internet lag causing our leaders to disappear. You just see Johnson coming out of turn number 4 as the leaders disappear into turn number 1. Jacob Wright with the lead. Wright now crosses the start-finish line. We're on lap number 18 of 40, and it's Jacob Wright leading the field. Wright 1, Newton 2, Trantham 3, Johnson 4, Jamie Wilson 5. Those 5 cars at the top. Behind them, it's Grady, Schaefer, Gifford, and Stephen White. White right now being shown as the last car on the lead lap. You can see White come into the field of view as Jacob Wright is closing in on the 13 of Stephen White. Wright puts White a lap down. It's Wright 1, Newton 2. Those cars nose to tail as they close now on the FART car. That's the 12 of Andrew Gifford. Gifford now a lap down. That leaves 7 cars on the lead lap. Wright, Newton, Trantham, Johnson, Wilson, Grady, and Schaefer, the only cars remaining on the lead lap at the halfway point at South Boston Speedway. Jacob Wright, one of the top iRacing Legends car drivers on the circuit, routinely in the top 25 out of what is typically about 20,000 competitors. That puts Wright inside the top 1/100th of 1% of iRacing drivers on the service, at least those running in the Legends Car Series. Jacob Wright, an outstanding Legends Car driver, and Trent Newton, certainly no slouch. Newton also consistently inside the top group, mostly in the top 50, often in the top 25. These 2 cars fairly evenly matched. Behind them, Scott Trantham runs in 3rd, Aaron Johnson in 4th. It looks to me as though Johnson has been working to try to catch Trantham, but he's not making any headway. Right now, the top 4 pretty stable. It's Wright 1, Newton 2, Trantham 3, Johnson 4, then a gap back from Johnson to Jamie Wilson. Jim Grady now in 6th with Christopher Schaefer 7th. Those cars, the only cars on the lead lap. There are 2 cars 1 lap down. That would be the 13 of Stephen White and the 12 of Andrew Gifford. And then in the 10th spot, 3 laps down, Matt Van Dusen. Just behind him, also 3 laps down, are Gary Wellman and Stephen Sowery. And then rounding out in 13th, it's Ethan Michaels, 5 laps down, being shown in the 13th spot. Let's walk through the field one more time. I don't know what happened there. Let's try this again. A little problem with the telemetry. All right, behind Jacob Wright. Ooh, we got a spin. That's Stephen Sowery going around. So Sowery spins just in front of the leaders. Wright lucky to avoid him. Behind Wright, is the one of Trent Newton. Newton about 2.5 car lengths back as Jacob Wright is beginning to pull away with 13 to go. Wright's car may be a little better on these very long runs. That's the 10. Behind the 10, that's Scott Trantham in the 6th. Trantham being currently shown in the 3rd spot. Then behind Trantham, that's the 00 of Johnson. Johnson is gaining on Trantham. I don't know if he's gaining quickly enough to make a pass. Then behind Johnson, that's Stephen White. White 1 lap down being shown in the 8th spot. Behind White on the racetrack, that's the 8 of Jamie Wilson. Wilson currently shown in the 5th spot. Behind Wilson, it's the 7 of Matt Van Duzen. Van Duzen 3 laps down in 10th. Bounces off the wall and slams into the inside wall. Matt Van Duzen with some trouble there. That'll put the 12 of Andrew Gifford onto the screen. Gifford currently 1 lap down being shown in the 9th spot. Then behind Gifford, it's the 11 of Jim Grady. Grady currently being shown in 6th. On the lead lap behind Grady, that's the 69 of Christopher Schaefer. Schaefer, the last car on the lead lap, working on the 11 of Grady. Schaefer looks like he's going to make the pass, so that will put Jim Grady as the last car on the lead lap, currently in the 6th spot. Behind Grady on the speedway, that's the 5 of Ethan Michaels. Michaels being shown 5 laps down in 12th spot. Then behind Michaels would be your leader, the 2 of Jacob Wright. There are 8 laps to go. Jacob Wright has the lead. He's followed by the 1 of Trent Newton and Trantham and Johnson, with Christopher Schaefer now having moved back into the top 5 after an early spin. Jacob Wright leads. He's closing on the 12. That's Andrew Gifford. Gifford being shown 1 lap down in 7th. Wright makes the pass. Trent Newton makes the pass. There are 7 laps to go. There'll be 6 to go this time by. And with 6 to go, it's still Jacob Wright. It is Wright, Newton, Trantham, Johnson. Johnson had been closing on the 6 of Trantham, and he continues to close, but not quickly enough. Looks like Trantham should be able to hold off Johnson. So all the action of interest is going to be up front as Jacob Wright has extended the lead just slightly over the 1 of Trent Newton. Wright now about 3.5 car lengths ahead as both cars go under the 11 of Jim Grady. That puts Grady a lap down, leaving 5 cars on the lead lap. Wright, Newton, Trantham, Johnson, and Schaefer, the top 5. Those 5 cars, the only cars remaining on the lead lap. 4 to go. Jacob Wright with the lead. Trent Newton 2nd, Trantham 3rd, Johnson 4th. Wright running a very smooth race. Jacob Wright making no mistakes, is not even leaving the door open a crack for Trent Newton. 3 to go now. Jacob Wright with the lead. You know, Wright, one of the best iRacing drivers on the service. Very quick, very smooth, very hard to get around him once he makes his way to the front. Behind Wright, it's Newton, who is beginning to fall back just a bit more. Newton now about 4 car lengths back. There are 2 to go. Jacob Wright with the lead. Newton 2nd, Trantham 3rd, Johnson 4th. Wright down the back straightaway with 2 to go. Now into turn number 3, out of the middle of 3 and 4, now out of 4 onto the front straightaway. Jacob Wright's going to take the white flag this time by. Jacob Wright with 1 to go, barring any unfortunate incidents. Jacob Wright's going to win this race at South Boston. Wright down the back straightaway. Now into turn number 3, it's Jacob Wright 1, Trent Newton 2. Wright comes out of turn number 4. This race is his. Jacob Wright's going to take home the checkers with Trent Newton coming home in the 2nd spot. Then behind them, it's going to be the 6 of Trantham, followed by the 00 of Johnson. Johnson will come home 4th, and then in the 5th spot, it'll be the 69 of Chris Schaefer. Schaefer is going to be the last car on the lead lap. Behind Schaefer in 6th would be Jim Grady, then Andrew Gifford in 7th, Gary Wellman 8th, Ethan Michaels 9th, with Jamie Wilson rounding out the top 10. That was quite a race from South Boston Speedway. Jacob Wright got out to a quick early lead, ran a near-perfect race, and took home the victory. From South Boston Speedway, this is Aaron Johnson for the Johnson iRacing team saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.